So, before you came to see me, you said that you'd made an appointment
to see the doctor.
Okay.
And it was going to be for 2 days after I'd seen you.
Okay.
Because I thought I was schizophrenic.
Why did you think you were schizophrenic?
Because one minute everything would seem okay and I'd seem at peace, and then the next minute everything would feel like it changed and I'd just start shouting and be really angry, and then once I'd shouted I'd go back to the way that I was before.
Okay.
And so I thought I'd looked at everything and so the doctor would be able to fix it, but then I decided to Google and see what I could find.
Okay.
I found you.
Okay. Can you understand why you were thinking like that?
Yeah.
And what do you think now?
Because I'm a 6 on the Enneagram and I do worst case scenario thinking, and also because as a 6 you do feel like something's changed, but actually you just need to discuss that with somebody. Like if it's when you're in a relationship, for instance, which is where it normally happens to me,
right. So
just need to tell them, look, I know nothing's actually changed, but can you just reassure me that everything's okay?
Yeah.
And then that is all it would take.
With 6s, as well as some other types as well, some other Enneagram types, it's distorted thinking patterns, and that's the type of therapeutic intervention that we need, because it becomes extremely warped quite quickly, or it can do. The feeling of schizophrenia, was that a fear to do with like stuff with your parents?
I don't know really.
Okay.
I don't know. I suppose I was looking for an answer, wasn't I? I wanted an answer, and I couldn't think of anything else that it could be. So I suppose I tried to pin it on something. And the
6 questioning always questioning of what's wrong with me, why am I like this,
yeah.
What can I do about it, and then the searching of a label,
yeah.
is almost feeling quite reassuring if you're a 6, because then you're able to you've got your answer to your question. And I think people find with the Enneagram, some people sometimes, and other therapists who I've not been so close to in recent years, have found it very boxing and very much labelling. And people will say, well, I'm not into labels, and I'm not into boxing, and I'm not into, it's kind of limited thinking. What would you say to that, and what would you say now you've found your type?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think before I came to see you, I thought I was the only person that was like this. I thought I was like some crazy person that just couldn't deal with anything, because my mum wasn't like it,
right.
and my sister wasn't like it,
right.
and they were saying, well, you just need to sort yourself out and learn to live with yourself the way that you are. But actually, now I know, I have done, yeah, but now I know that there are 9 personalities, and I'm just one of those, and there's loads of other people out there that
being that there's 7 billion people on the planet,
yeah.
Then that means there's about 800, I can't work out the maths exactly, that means that there are about 800 million 6s on the planet.
I felt like I was the only one,
yeah.
But now I know I'm not. And if I do, I haven't done it for a while, but if I do feel myself start to, I really kind of bonk,
that's 100%, okay.
I like to put the CD in and listen to the CD again,
okay.
and hear actually the way that I'm feeling and thinking. Isn't that great?
There's lots and lots of data and information on the Enneagram of all the types, and you can do Enneagram online tests. Obviously you can come and have sessions with me, and usually I'll be able to work out your type within the first session. But you found it quite useful for self-acceptance then?
Yeah, definitely.
And for understanding yourself,
yeah.
And being able to master much more of your psychology.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in the EFT world, and even in NLP, don't like it because they think, well, hang on, we're all one. Which I agree with, we are all one. But the boxing I found is where people will still use NLP and EFT and hypnosis to get rid of their ills, get rid of their own egoic agenda, whatever that is, for control, security, or love and approval. And they will still be struggling, and sometimes being in denial about their issues, or not fully understanding why they haven't been able to come to a complete sense of enlightenment through their own inner work or their own EFT or whatever. And I don't find it boxing at all. I find it that it helps you to get outside of the box. I find that I can generally see Enneatypes in life anyway, but I can usually tell their type in the first session. And once we find out what their ego agenda is, which is wanting to get to be of security, control, or love and approval, it's always about finding that within. So control types have surrender control. So they're not looking outside for control. They start having control within, and they let down the guards of their hearts, and they begin to heal. Sixes begin to find security within as opposed to externally. And the only way we can find security within is by going within, like all the other types. And love and approval types, instead of trying to search for it outside in the world so that they can be loved, it's actually finding that within and going within and loving themselves. And as a security type, that's not really going on that much for you, isn't it? It was kind of like you did have some issues to do with self-love, but and self-acceptance, but it's enabled you to feel more what?
Just feel at peace and love myself.
Love yourself.
Yeah. And when you first said that on our first session, you need to love yourself, I was like, don't be silly. I can't ever love myself. Don't even like myself.
Right.
Actually, I do.
Yeah. And that's what I found, that I'm exactly the same. And that's what I found out with my own discovery of it and my going into my own tendency and my own type. And that's why I'm very honest with clients whenever I'm coaching them as well, because it's been my own personal journey, which I think inspires people to come to me, because I say, it's not just I've read this stuff from books, it's that I've massively transformed my life in every area. And I like to be able to help people out of suffering. And I used to do this anyway, for free. So it was just like being paid to do a hobby, really. And I think that comes across in the work that I do. So I'm not so professional as sort of like, so Donna, tell me about your problems. And sort of, so you're just, talking to me about them. And
we can relate to you. I think that's the important thing. There's no sort of, you're talking down. I've never felt like you're talking down to me.
Right.
You're always talking to me like you're on the same level, like you understand what I'm going through.
Because I do. Because I've been there in that crazy, insane way of being very stuck in lots of limiting beliefs, and as a 6, understanding what paranoia is, and that absolute petrified feeling of that you're going to go insane. So it's very, very interesting that you said that you thought, well, you were going to go to the doctor 2 days after my session, so if I hadn't done any work with you, you would have tried to get a label of I'm schizophrenic.
Yeah.
It's interesting you didn't tell me that in the first session.
Maybe I didn't want to admit it.
Okay. But I would have said that you weren't even borderline schizophrenic. That was just a 6 pattern of being massively overwhelmed about your feelings and your circumstances. And because you were having issues coming up that were ready to be dealt with, that we were able to clear with EFT and NLP and some advanced hypnotic pattern language that I was using in sessions, you were ready to let go. And some people do come and they're not fully ready, and they do need to have more of an understanding. But you're at the tipping point in order to really do some great work, which is why we just kept clearing stuff and clearing stuff and clearing stuff. The point that 5 sessions and you feel like a brand new you.
I do.
Anything else you'd like to add today? Sort of, because it's really helpful to me, because people look at testimonials and they're only reading things, and you're a human being, at least I think you are, and you have experienced it. And we only did 5 sessions, and that was. I mean, this is a book of people's issues, and There was a lot there. There were probably about 20 things there. And your email was quite desperate. I've got really desperate problems.
Yeah.
And now you've transformed this much. Now, some people do need 10 sessions, but you've come a long way in 6. 5.
5.
5.
Yeah.
You've come a long way in 5.
Yeah. Because your techniques are really good.
My techniques? Okay. Is there anything else you'd add?
Just I think that they should do it. They should come and see you. It is amazing. And EFT is something that I'll use for the rest of my life.
Cool.
And when more issues come up, which I'm sure they will at some point in my life, I will definitely come back and see you again. Definitely. Without a doubt.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Okay.